Happy day and welcome to the first lecture, nutrition. It's just going to be an overview these first couple of days. You've seen the assignment, that is to familiarize you with what you may already know are some familiar trends in health and nutrition. And I hope you enjoy that assignment Tuesday night. Let me know if you need more time. It's basically an internet search. So you'll just get on Google a few things. When you see a health trend or one you may already know about, I would probably use a term that you're familiar with. And when I'm speaking health trend, it can be anything from diet and fitness to heart and mental health, diabetes, anything, um, electromagnet bracelets. So just any kind of health trend that strikes your fancy that you've been curious about, this is your opportunity to search it and see what's being said about it on both sides. Other than that, I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to just kind of go through, I'm not going to lecture through each slide. You see on Google Classroom that there's a list of questions as you go through this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint lecture is not designed to answer all those questions, but just to kind of talk through some of these things. So wellness guidelines, there's an agenda slide here you can look at. And you will learn. When we think of guidelines, what does that convey to you? What is a guideline? Is it a rule that you must follow? Or is it a recommendation? Well, a rule is any statement that tells you what is or is not allowed. So it's usually punishable, right, at work. If you don't do this, you will be written up. If you do this, you will be written up. It's just certain things you can and can't do in the workplace, right, or at school. A guideline is a set of recommendations. You ought to. This COVID, in some places it's a guideline and strongly recommended that you wear a mask. In other places, you must wear a mask and social distance. Those are examples of guidelines versus rules. One's enforceable by some kind of a fine or punishment. The other is just a recommendation. So when we talk about health, no one is going to require you to want to be healthy. No one's going to require you, except maybe your mom if she calls, or your dad, maybe, but nobody's going to punish you. These are just guidelines and recommendations and good advice. And I think everybody knows that we like to try to be healthier, more healthy. It just takes too much work or time or effort, right? Often. But good nutrition is important for many things. We won't get into the biological stuff today, but we will hit these general guidelines, who created them, why they're important, and what are the 8 basic guidelines for living a healthy and well life. And we're talking not just physiologically for your body. Health is way more than your body structure. If you look at me, I'm malnourished. I'm probably anorexic, is what most people would think. But that's just the charts. But health is personal. Health is individual. So we can't look at magazines, books, or what images of other people we think we wish we could be like or look like. It's always personal. So, I have a friend who's slightly overweight. All the blood work's beautiful. Mental health is great. They're a picture of good health. And they get out and they exercise from time to time, so we got to get out of our head as we go into this, that there's some picture that this course, class, or that nutrition experts are trying to get you to achieve. It's individual and personal wellness. So who created the guidelines? They're going to have to be broad enough that everyone can or should be able to follow them. And if the government's setting guidelines, they got to give you information, all right, so you can help to monitor yourself easily. And so these are broad categories of wellness. Again, it's not about trying to fit you into a cookie cutter. It's just about you finding wellness and prolonging your life and saving you money in the long run. So the United States Department of Agriculture and Health and Human Services, these are the people who survey the American public via your doctors. So what is the basis of these guidelines? Well, they survey thousands of people each year. They get an idea on what they're eating, not eating, and they're not looking at, and then they look at these who have health conditions or disease, whether it be because of their behavior or their genetics, and they look at their diet And they comb through these and they say, okay, well, these people eat and behave and act like this, and they have these conditions. These people eat and behave and act like this. And again, these are broad categories. And they then kind of set forth a nutrition and health plan. Say, wow, all these people who have maybe no issues, or I mean, they're not specimen or anything, but these seem to be the recommended. This is what most people who are healthy are doing. And that's pretty much the bottom line. These are what most people in America who are generally healthy, this is what they're doing. And so for the common American who's generally healthy, this is the diet they're following. And that kind of becomes a standard for the recommendation for everyone. So it's no single person trying to control, and these are not enforceable, but some people do want to try to be healthy. It does decrease the load on our medical system, right? And for those who are coming with heart disease, obesity, or diabetes, mental health, and they're saying, what can we do to help that? Because we can decrease the number of people coming to the hospital or to the doctor's office. That's going to save everybody money. Trust me, they got enough money. There's always going to be enough patients. So we don't have to worry about not feeding the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare professionals. We want to worry about spending that money in other ways, right? So why are they important? Well, they emphasize the importance of creating healthy eating patterns, engaging in regular physical activity to maintain health and reduce that risk of disease. And I'm just going to come through here. So this first one, and this will be a series of things we should decrease and things we should increase. It's not a list of don'ts and it's not a list of do's. It's a little of both. So one thing that's really increased, especially since the 1980s, but it's continued to increase through time, is this sugary beverages. It is now known that most, well, when I say most, I'll say about, I think I know the numbers. Let me remember. 73, well, about 70%, 60 to 70% of Americans get the majority of their calories through what they drink. And so you don't probably have to think too hard or think about Monster drinks, come and go, 44 ounces. They're cheap. They're cheap and they're about triple the size they used to be. The medium or small of the McDonald's, and I went to drive-thru not too long ago, about 20 ounce, used to be the large. There was the 8, 12, and 20 ounce. Not that I'm dating myself, but now, you know, the dollar drink is a 20 ounce is the smallest. I mean, anything less than 20 ounces, a kid's cup. If you want to Google China, McDonald's, you can see their sizes. Those are about the sizes we used to have. But we're into big beverage consumption because we're a complex kind of animal. You know, most animals will go to drink when they need to, and it's always going to be water. If it's a domesticated animal, maybe milk, right? But we have choice. We drink for fun, for pleasure, because we want something sweet and flavorful in our mouth, right? Or we want the stimulus or something like that. So people in general, and Americans greatly, drink a lot of sugary beverages. So here's the thing. The next slide kind of tells us some of the benefits of decreasing our sugary beverage. I want you to think about this. You can either pause the video or just quickly think about if you've ever experienced or maybe you try to take out. I know a lot of people, when they first go away from drinking soda, which is their security blanket, go to diet soda, and that's great. That's definitely better than the full sugary ones. But I want you to look at these last two bullets. These are the ones most people experience right away. When they cut out the volume of sugary beverages, they get this weird kind of memory boost, this fog that they have had in their head. They didn't realize even that they had this kind of mental fog, but it just kind of fades away over about a 2-week period. They're able to actually focus and increase more, which is funny because we usually drink sugar to kind of pick us up, right? To keep us going. So look at the second bullet, more energy, right? That's an oxymoron. Wait a minute, sugar is supposed to be for energy. Absolutely. Other studies have shown that if you don't have sugar in your system, you get very hangry, right? Your gut is like a second brain, and your emotions are dictated by how hungry often you are, how you treat others, how you feel about yourself, your mood and attitude through the day is affected by the amount of sugar and nutrition in your body. And this is just one part of it. But you actually have more energy. You're not so bloated and drugged down. If I drink 1 cup of coffee, I'm good. Sometimes half a second. I drink too much, it bloats me, and it has the opposite effect. It actually makes me sluggish. Increase. So decrease sugary beverages, increase the frequency of breakfast consumption. This is one that a lot of people are guilty of. I'm guilty of. I don't need a big breakfast. My wife loves big breakfast. We're just different that way. I could eat one big meal in the middle of the day, and that would probably be enough. And I just snack on something at night and snack on something in the morning. Others need a more regular regimen. So you kind of have to monitor yourself for what's best. But this is true across the board. If you have at least something for breakfast, a cereal bar and some juice, or a glass of milk and some toast, at its smallest, that's a breakfast. You're not going to be starving by lunch. You're not going to gorge. You're not going to try to shove everything to satisfy that appetite and quench the savage beast. Right? So if you have a little something for breakfast, it's going to give you a little metabolism boost. Your metabolism doesn't stay slow. It picks you up more in the morning, increases your blood pressure in a positive way. Whereas if you don't eat, again, sluggish, your appetite, your metabolism slows down. And because it's slow, when you do eat later that afternoon, you're not going to process that food as quick. You're not going to get the energy from it. It's going to actually make you tired. And it may just go to storage. So there's the benefits: increased frequency of breakfast consumption, increased fruit and vegetable consumption. I just mentioned a bit ago about attitude and mood. Oh boy. Yeah. Golden and white food definitely are needed. But if all you eat is gold food and white food, you're not getting this colorful food, that's going to affect, again, your health, your mental health, and your mood and attitude. So here are the benefits for increasing fruit and vegetable consumption. Those vitamins and minerals, they're minor, but very important. You don't need a lot of them, but you do need some each day. And look, you even feel good about doing it. Self-confidence and self-esteem. All right, moving right down, decreasing fast food consumption. This could help in the pocketbook too. I know I've gotten busy as of late, and I'd gone for a really long time without fast food, but just in the last month, I've probably had more than I've had in the last year. No guilt, just is what it is, but we don't want to make it a habit, right? The salt, the fat, so we get filled up, and it's very possible for you to be obese and malnourished. We think of someone skinny as being malnourished, but heavier set people are also malnourished, because what causes that is the lifestyle that we all have, which is probably why we do the beverage thing as well. But we just live in such a fast lifestyle, fast-paced technology, and going from here to there. Well, anyway, if we can decrease the fast food, that's usually salt, sugar, right, and cholesterol. And the minerals actually are satisfying, and your brain enjoys fat. Actually, your brain looks for fat first. Fat is a good thing. Fat is not bad. And so when you give your body fatty food, your brain recognizes it and wants it. The problem is we're giving it the wrong kind of fat. And so your body or your mind becomes satiated. Your mind becomes satisfied with it, but it's not doing good for your body. So if we give it the right kinds of fats, the right kinds of cholesterol, and there are good fats and there are good cholesterols, and unfortunately, they're not usually found in fast food. So decrease fast food consumption. Here are some of the benefits. Like I said, sugar, salt, oils, minerals we need. We need those salts, but there's other salts rather than just sodium chloride, which is what we hit here. These kinds of foods will yield cravings for more of these kinds of foods. It's a positive feedback, which is dangerous in this case. Eating healthy also has a positive feedback. And as hard as it is to make the conversion to eating, I felt pretty good last night. We had some cheese and ham, carrots. What else was on that? Grapes, olives. That's kind of weird. Peppers. We had those sweet snack peppers, bag of snack peppers. And you know, and when you eat those while watching a good movie or watching the game, you begin to associate different kinds of food with those good times, right? You can create healthy cravings, can get a change in your taste buds. There's always a time, right, to get used to that. But once you do, you set up that lifestyle. Increased frequency of physical activity. And I don't want to get too long. I think time is clicking by here. I don't like to give long lectures and I get wordy. So go through these slides. Some of these go without saying. Each one tells you what to increase or decrease and what the benefits are. And I want you to think about the benefits because you might have some other personal benefits or examples of each of these I would love to hear about. Decreased sedentary behavior. Modern lifestyle also does this. So come and go and video games, they just go together, right? But there is a pay back if it's not a payoff. Decreased sedentary behavior, boost energy and happiness, weight management, feel productive, less lazy, more enthusiasm. The time just flies when I do this right here. I'm like, what? I just looked at the clock and it was only 1:30. Now it's 4. This is a big one. We'll talk a little bit about later in the semester. Increasing conflict resolution skills. All right. So being aware that there are ways in which we can approach conflict that are more beneficial than detrimental. It's not just a shouting match. It's not lashing out. It's not keeping quiet and letting it bottle up. There's ways to resolve conflict that are actually productive. So conflict is not bad. It's expected, but there's ways to handle it. So we can increase those skills. Self-esteem, self-confidence, dignity, positive mood boost, more patient and stronger relationships, decreased negative perception of challenges, little by little, baby steps, each one. Take a break along the way, but keep going, okay? Challenges can play a positive role. Coming back to school or doing these classes are a challenge, but completing them, right? It's just a boost. So clip off the T. You can do it. All right. Decreased stress levels, more optimistic. So think about those. Which do you think is the most challenging guideline for you to follow? Decreasing sugary beverages, increasing fruits and vegetables. Maybe you hate salad. Which guideline do you think will be the least challenging? You don't have to do this. We'll have an opportunity at the end of this week to set a goal, a SMART goal that's specific, measurable, right? That you can actually attain in a good amount of time, like 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Realistic, in other words. OT was the time. So which guideline are you most excited about trying to follow? Think about this. I challenge you. This is not a graded component right here of this class, but as we learn about nutrition and health, I want you to make it personal, right? What would you like to do? And with that, I leave you to have a good day.